Hey, welcome back to another keyboard review. Today we're diving into Yunzii's YZ75 Pro, an entry-level budget mechanical keyboard. At a price point of $89.99, let's see if this keyboard's accessibility reflects on its performance. The YZ75 has made waves across the internet. Let's dive in and see if it's the right choice for you. Let's start by examining what's in the box. The keyboard takes center stage, protected by a dust cover and foam wrapping. But before we look at the keyboard itself, let's take a look at what accessories are included. Firstly, there's the trusty user manual, followed by a white USB-A to USB-C cable. Then you'll find a standard keycap and switch puller, along with a bag of spare keycaps that include macOS compatibility. Additionally, there's an acrylic panel and metal badge, which we'll delve into further later on. And lastly, you'll also receive a couple of spare switches. The YZ75 comes in at $89.99 on Yunzii.com. It features a 75% layout with 82 keys. It's got tri-mode connectivity, meaning you can connect via Bluetooth 2.4 GHz or wired USB-C. The board is equipped with a 5000 mAh battery. Okay, so I can only speak on the design of the blue variant that I have, but I must say I really admire what Yunzii have done with the aesthetic of the YZ75. The various shades of blue coupled with the white accent keycaps complement each other beautifully against the white case. The keyboard really has a nice presence on my desk, so I'm really happy with this aspect of the board. I think you will be too. The YZ75 boasts a sturdy plastic construction that feels remarkably rigid with minimal to no flex noticeable in the case. While crafted from plastic, the board doesn't give off an overly cheap impression, it still maintains a sense of quality. It's worth noting that it features a top mount design, so there's no gasket system here, which is evident in the lack of bounce to the keystroke. If you prefer a softer typing experience, this board may not best fit your preferences. Let's talk about the sound profile of this board. Here's a quick teaser, but I'll have a full sound test later in the video. I know the way people describe the sound of a keyboard can be subjective, but in my opinion the board sounds quite hollow, with clacky tones. I didn't get much of a sense of satisfaction from typing on the board, but that's not to say that you won't. My preference lies towards a deeper, talkier sound. If you're coming from something like a traditional gaming keyboard, you'll definitely notice an improvement in sound. I'm happy to report that the stabilizers performed very well. They're factory lubed and I didn't hear any pinging or ticking noises, so that's a huge plus. They feel really consistent with the rest of the keys, which is excellent. Bad stabilizers tend to tarnish the overall sound of the board, so Yunzii have done a good job here. If we take a look underneath the keyboard, you'll find the on-off switch. It's worth noting that like many keyboards, the off state doesn't necessarily mean the keyboard is completely powered down. Instead, it signifies that it's in wired mode. It's just a minor naming detail, but it might cause some confusion. It's also equipped with 4 rubber pads for use at its default angle. Furthermore, it features double height adjustable feet with rubber grips, providing ample options for you to customize to find your preferred typing angle. As we transition to the back edge of the board, you'll notice the 2.4 GHz dongle seamlessly integrated into the case, secured by a springy locking mechanism. It's a subtle yet thoughtful detail that adds to the overall experience. Now, for the RGB enthusiast, this board is an absolute treat. As you've probably already noticed, there's an RGB strip running all the way around the edge of the case. Get ready for those late night gaming sessions to feel truly immersive with the YZ75. For those of you who aren't as fond of RGB lighting, rest assured that you can turn off the side strip. However, it's worth noting that the main RGB backlighting does still leak through in certain places. So if you want to go true no RGB, disable it all. As we circle back to the top of the keyboard, there's nothing particularly stand out or overly intriguing. Well, maybe except this guy, until we recall that display plate from the unboxing. For this next step, you'll need to sacrifice 4 of your page navigation keys. If you're willing to proceed, go ahead and remove them along with their respective switches from the board. Remove the plastic film from both the acrylic and the badge itself, then stack them on top of each other. There's something about the planetary theme that I can't quite put my finger on, but when paired with the vibrant RGB lighting shining through, it just adds an extra layer of enjoyment to using this board. Adjacent to the display, you'll notice 4 small LEDs. They indicate the status of caps lock, Windows lock, battery level, and there's also a general locking indicator whose function I am unsure of. So if you happen to know, feel free to share with everybody in the comments. Let's shift our focus to the keycaps, where I must say I'm personally impressed by how satisfying they look, especially in my blue variant. The blue variant comes equipped with double-shot PBT keycaps, ensuring that the legends look incredibly crisp and resistant to any greasy shine over time. In my variant, they come in the SA profile. SA profile keycaps are notably tall, which may not be ideal for heavy typists, as they can contribute to wrist fatigue over prolonged use. This brings us to a bit of a form versus function dilemma that some users may need to consider. When it comes to the thickness of these keycaps, they definitely lean towards towards the thinner end of the scale. In my opinion, this contributes to the hollow sound you experience when typing on the board. The YZ75 offers a range of Gateron G Pro switches including the yellows, blacks, browns, and my personal choice, the reds. The reds, featuring a pre-lubed linear 3-pin design, require an operating force of approximately 45 grams, making them one of the lighter options within the G Pro lineup. The switches are made up of a white nylon bottom housing, a clear polycarbonate top housing, and a thermoplastic MX style stem with a steel spring. Thanks to the factory lubrication, the switches offer a smooth feel. However, as mentioned, the hollow sound they produce in this keyboard doesn't make them my top choice overall. The YZ75 is hot swappable though, allowing you to easily swap out the switches with any 3 or 5 pin design that suit your preferences. Yunzii provides dedicated software for customizing the YZ75 to your preference. That does mean that there's no QMK or VIA support. The software is exclusively compatible with Windows operating systems. However, modifications made using the software will carry over seamlessly across different operating systems. The software itself is passable. It's not particularly impressive in terms of UI design, but unlike some other software, it does operate reliably without crashing, so you should have no issues navigating and utilizing its features. I was delighted to discover that the YZ75 comes equipped with a powerful 5000 mAh battery. Compared to its competitors like the Epilmaker's EK68, which houses a 3000 mAh battery, the YZ75 stands out for its impressive capability. You'll find yourself reaching for the charger far less frequently with the YZ75, especially when you dial down the RGB brightness or switch it off entirely. End key rollover is a feature of this board, so if you're thinking of using it for gaming, this in my opinion is one of the most crucial features that you need, and the YZ75 has you covered. Featuring south-facing sockets, the RGB backlighting in the YZ75 is vibrant and customizable. You have plenty of options to tweak it either through keyboard shortcuts or directly within the software. Okay, as always, it's time to play the sound test before I leave you with my closing remarks and recommendations. So for just $90, I think this keyboard has a lot going for it. In my opinion, this keyboard would be a highly capable option for the gamers out there. If you're transitioning from a mainstream gaming keyboard, perhaps from a well-known brand like Razer, I believe you'll appreciate the step into the customizable keyboard realm with the YZ75. In that case, I recommend considering this board. If you're already entrenched in the custom keyboard community, however, and seeking the best typing experience with budget constraints, I'd suggest exploring alternatives like the Owla F75. Not only does this keyboard come in at a lower price, but it also offers a superior typing experience compared to this keyboard. That concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like rating. Your support is greatly appreciated. A huge thanks to Yunzii for providing the products featured in today's video. Rest assured, my thoughts and opinions remain unbiased and unaffected. If you'd like to check out my review on the previously mentioned Owla F75, check out this video here. Alternatively, check out my last video on Sidu's V75 Plus aluminium keyboard.